The role of the psychotherapist. Part 6 of 15. The psychotherapist is called a leader. Not the kind of leader who stands on a stage and demands attention, but the kind of guide who walks a step ahead, saying quietly, "Watch that stone. Don't fall in that hole. Turn here instead." He sees the pitfalls first and points them out, helping the patient avoid what he already stumbled on himself. But he is also a follower. For if no one walks ahead of him with light, then both therapist and patient stumble blindly into nowhere. That one who leads them both cannot be absent if healing is the goal, but he may not be recognized. When he is not seen, the little light that can be accepted is all that shines, and yet it is enough to keep the road open until more light is welcomed. Healing is always limited by the limits of both patient and therapist. The aim of the process is to transcend those limits. Neither can do it alone. But when they join, the potential to transcend all limits has been given them. The question becomes, how much of that potential will they use? Willingness may begin with either one, therapist or patient. And as the willingness is shared, it grows. Progress is simply a matter of decision. The mind that chooses can climb almost to heaven, pointing the way toward God. Or it can circle back to a step or two from hell, replaying the grievances and fears that keep suffering alive. This is the freedom of decision-making mind. It is possible for psychotherapy to appear to fail. Sometimes it even looks like retrogression, like someone has slipped backwards into the very problems they came to escape. But if one asks for help and another tries to answer in the form of help, there must be some success. That is the formula for salvation. One brother asks, another responds. Divided goals, when ego sneaks in, are the only thing that block perfect healing. One holy, egoless therapist could heal the world without a word, simply by presence. Not through a method, not through a name, not through recognition. Just by being there, radiating the light of a mind emptied of self. That is why the old story says, when fortune turned to disaster and disaster to fortune, the wise man always answered, "We don't know yet." He had no investment in judging appearances, no ego to protect. This is what it means that presence alone can heal. The ideal therapist is one with Christ. Yet healing is a process, not a fact. The therapist cannot progress without the patient, because teaching is learning. The patient cannot be ready to receive the Christ, or he would not still be sick. Sickness itself is the sign of unreadiness. Therefore, each depends on the other. The egoless therapist, in the end, becomes more like an abstraction. Too advanced to still believe in sickness. Too near to God to keep his feet on earth. But he can still help those who walk the road, carrying out the plan of salvation. And what is the plan of salvation? That the psychotherapist himself becomes the patient. That through the ones he serves, his own lessons are learned. That he speaks what is given him, expressing thoughts that flow directly from the mind of Christ. He learns by giving, and by giving, he remembers that there was never anything to heal. The mountain guide and the lantern. Picture a mountain trail at night. The psychotherapist is the guide, walking just ahead, warning the traveler, "Step here, not there, hold the rope, watch the edge." But the therapist himself is not the source of safety. He carries a lantern, and the light in that lantern does not come from him. The light comes from the one who walks ahead of them both, the Holy Spirit, the Christ, the true guide. If the therapist forgets this and thinks the lantern is his own, both he and the patient stumble in the dark. If he remembers the source of the light, then even a dim glow is enough to keep them safe on the path. And here's the secret. Each time therapist and patient walk together in willingness, the lantern grows brighter. One day the guide himself no longer needs the lantern because he has become one with the light. But until then, his only task is to keep pointing, not to himself, but to the light he carries. That is the role of the psychotherapist.